All right, sitting here in my 1984 Porsche 944 with the original steering wheel. Beautiful symbol, not so beautiful hockey tape, even though as a hockey player and as a Canadian, I love it. But yeah, we can do better. And as you can see, I'm a relatively bigger guy. I'm not huge or anything, but you know, I'm like 5'11", 215-ish, and yeah, pretty tight to get in and out. So I bought a smaller Momo wheel, and you're gonna see what it's like, so stay tuned. So a lot of videos, at least that I've noticed, they do not disconnect the battery. Now in an 84 944, any car without an airbag, it's probably not as big of a deal, but I'm gonna disconnect the negative terminal anyways, just to be safe, because, you know, let's face it, the horn button does attach, and that's a wire that goes to the electrical system. So although the risk is probably pretty low, I'm just gonna disconnect it just to be safe. Remove the horn cover, which is super easy. Just use your two hands, just pull it out, no problem. Now we're gonna use the 15/16, or I believe a 20 millimeter, and let's start taking this out. So I'm gonna turn the camera off because I have to hold the wheel with the other hand, and we'll see what happens when it's off. So, pretty much off, but as you can see, I'm using a torque wrench now, because I figured why bother struggling when I can let the tool take care of the hard work. All right, so let's take this puppy off. Woo! See the washer there? We're gonna keep that. Then I have the nut here, which we're gonna use later. Woohoo! So I think what I'll do is just clean that up a bit before I put the hub adapter on. So I've got my Sparco hub adapter here. Just slides right on. And now what we'll do is get the wheel and we'll bolt it on. And obviously fasten everything in, connect the horn, etc. You can also do this outside of the car as well. It's all up to your preference. One thing I was wondering about, so this is a Sparco adapter that's going to fit with the Momo wheel, but I've read on some Reddit forums and some other 944 talk that certain adapters have a bit of a gap. And I was hoping this one wouldn't, but it does at the back. I mean, it's still gonna work. Car's still gonna function. But cosmetically, I don't like that. So I guess there are little spacers that we can buy. So I'll probably do one of those a bit later, just cosmetically. But I think overall, this is gonna be the view that I'm gonna have most of the time. So it's gonna look pretty sweet. Goes on properly, so I believe it goes on like this, guys. So let's get the horn button on. And oh yeah, just before I do that, this is a 320 millimeter Momo Montecarlo with the red stitch. I wanted the red stitch because my 944 is red, and I also got a red shifter boot through a separate provider. But got the Sparco hub, the Momo wheel, and look at this leg room. Awesome. And contrary to what other people might say, I find there's no issue here looking at the speedometer. The tack is a little bit out of view, but of course you can adjust your seat if it's that important, but let's face it. Anyways, yeah, enough commentary there. And yeah, the fuel gauge and stuff, slightly out of view, but again, adjust your seat or your head or whatever you need to check those. But I mean, the main thing obviously is speedometer. All right, let's get this thing done. Yeah, I gotta put the most important part on before the horn button. We gotta put the nut and the washer. As you can tell, I'm no mechanic, but one thing I like to do with whether it's automotive or any nut situation, just thread it on with your hand before you start using your tools. That way, you know it's on straight. You're not going to risk damaging any components. And okay, now it's going to be ready to be put on. And I'm actually going to use my torque wrench just because I have one, and set it to like just under 40 pounds or so. Because I've been doing a little bit of research on this. I mean, you can just use a breaker bar if you don't have a torque wrench, but if you have a torque wrench, why not? Right, take that extra step. So that's torqued on, got the button, for the horn hooked up. So one thing I didn't notice in a lot of the 944 or even the Momo YouTube videos was the importance of this brass retainer ring. So what happened in my package was, I guess in shipping or maybe even from the factory, they just didn't have it installed directly to the horn button. So it was a loose part, and I actually put it on the outside here, and it just wouldn't go on properly, and I was wondering like what the heck's going on. So I, thanks to Renlist and a Porsche form there, realized that it has to go on here to make contact, because it acts as a ground between the wheel and the wiring. So minor detail, but important. Here's the finished product. So easy, and can't wait to drive it.